5k flat for sale in Paisley, Scotland. Now, is it really a flat? Because look at it. Look at this. Let's have a look inside. Because it needs huge amounts of renovation, so I'd hardly call it a flat. Certainly I wouldn't say it's habitable whatsoever. So there's obviously loads of work that needs to do, hence the price. They're saying in the particulars here that some of the other ones have sold close by are 50 grand. So that may be the end price. Once you've done it all up, that's probably the maximum you can expect. They're saying this is going to be a growth area, but really I wouldn't be looking at that when looking at investment. I'll be looking at how much money do I need to put into this to actually get this back up to Nick, and therefore will I still have a discount at the end of it, and then what can I rent it out for after that? So there's a lot of work to do here. It's difficult to tell because I haven't been round, but there looks as though you need to spend quite a bit of money on it. And if it's worth 50, you know, and maybe spending 25 grand on it, I don't know the size and etc. And the cost to do all of this, because I don't know what needs to be put in there and whether you need roofs, you certainly need windows and stuff like that. You know, you still want to profit, and therefore it's got to be worth your while. So will it go much above the 5k? But this is the opening bid, they call it, and they said the guide is at 25. I think 25 is way too high. Let me know your thoughts on what you think this should actually go for, whether you'd be interested in doing this amount of work. I think this is quite a lot of work, and you can buy better opportunities. But always think about what you're going to spend, and you want a discount once you've spent everything. You want it to be worth a lot more than what you paid for it, plus what you spent, plus any stamp duty, etc, etc. So this one, I don't think there's going to be much of a margin in this one. And also they talk about yield, but they talk about the yield on the price that you might pay at 25k. They're thinking 25k. And they say it's really good, but you've got to spend another 25k. So you should be looking at all of your costs for yield. You should be looking at all your costs all in. And can you get any money that you've invested recycled out by refinancing it at that new price, at that gross development value, and go again. So do your sums on this one to see whether this is a good opportunity. But I would roll on probably to the next one where there is far more profit to be had than what is probably going to end up in this one. But what I would do is track it and see what happens to it, because people might reduce their prices. You're saying, how can you reduce from 5? But it's not going to go for 5. They're expecting, and probably the reserve is going to be higher than that. But eventually they might have to sell it for something like 5, 10k. And then this might be a steal. So give me your thoughts on what you think the figures should be for this one. Don't forget to give me a follow for more deal analysis and property investing stories.